Hello, everyone, and welcome to Full Time, where we take you around the world of football, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. The Full Time podcast is presented and powered by 91 Network. You are tuning in to Season 6, Episode 28 of Full Time. I'm your host, Daniel Scarpino, and with me is our co host, Gitano Gallo. Before we begin today's show, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. The Full Time Podcast is sponsored by Little Caesars Pizza. With their two locations in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, you can download and access the Pizza Portal app so you can enjoy a delicious hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars today. The Full Time Podcast is also sponsored by Sioux Sports. To check out Sioux Sports for all of their articles, announcements, and streaming platforms, visit siouxsports.com as well as Sioux Sports TV on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Remind our listeners that recordings of Full Time occur weekly or bi-weekly, and uploads to all of our platforms for public viewing and listening occur weekly or bi-weekly as well. Folks, we are delighted to welcome you back to this episode here of Full Time, and we hope that you are all well. G, another night together talking footy, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Scarps. The sun is shining. The snow is slowly going away. I am doing quite well. How are you doing tonight?
Can't complain, sir. I'm in the same boat as you and get to be here together tonight to talk footy. So for me, life cannot get any better. In today's show, we will discuss the Champions League, the MLS, and a combined 11 of Manchester City and Arsenal for the upcoming Premier League fixture this weekend. As always, if anyone would like to listen to our previous content, please check us out at Full Time on all platforms of 91 Network. And without further ado, Gitano, and to everyone who has taken the time to tune in here today, let's kick off. We get today's show started with a look at the Champions League. The quarterfinals are all done and dusted, which means that we are set for the semifinals. Gee, we are truly in for the business end of the season, aren't we?
Oh yeah, it's whenever you're gonna get to this point of the season, it's really when it just feels like there's just something special in the air every time a soccer game is on, whether it's Champions League or anything Premier League. It just always feels like there's just a little something extra going on. It's fantastic.
It really is. And I do have to say that this time of year is an elite time for, of course, our sport, but for just sports in general, it's absolutely electric with the likes of NBA, NHL playoffs upcoming, and just being on the tail end of March Madness. And now, of course, all of the footy, MLS is up and running, as we're going to talk about later in our show. Yeah, sports this time of year, including our sport, is just phenomenal. So, Gitano, let's get to reviewing these games, and we are going to start with the battle in Spain, which was played between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. After a first leg of defensive prowess and tactical know-how got Atletico Madrid over the line by a score of 2-0, it was a second leg where Barcelona had all to do in order to climb their way back into things. Barcelona did have a fantastic performance and did get close, but not close enough. A second leg win for Barcelona by a score of 2-1 would not overturn the first leg result, which means Atletico Madrid booked their place in the semifinals of the Champions League, beating their fellow compatriots by a score of 3-2 on aggregate. Barcelona did just about everything in their power, and I personally tip my cap to them because I was impressive on their part. But Atletico proved to be the better side over two legs and did just a little bit more. Break this one down for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when they signed Ademola Lookman, we talked about him being a potential difference maker for them, needing that extra bit of firepower up front. Goes and gets them what happens to be the tie-winning goal. It's a fantastic goal, by the way, but just I think just in that moment there, you look at it, it's what do they pay, like 50 odd million for him? Like money well spent in that moment, right then and there. I thought the red card to Eric Garcia kind of shifted the game a little bit away from Barcelona's favor. Obviously, they sort of had a chance, but going down to 10 men against Atletico Madrid was never going to be kind of a recipe for success for them. So not the greatest decision from him to throw in that late tackle there. But yeah, I thought Atletico were fantastic. I think the first leg really set them up for success, obviously with the win, but just how they played. Barcelona generated nothing, created nothing. It was all Atletico Madrid. And in the second leg, we expected Barcelona to come out and attack, but that's all really athletic. That's basically the Diego Simeone game plan: is defend as much as you can, catch one on the counter, and win the tie. So I thought that was pretty textbook from Atletico Madrid, and a really fantastic tie overall.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. And it's so interesting with Atletico. Every game, game in, game out, you know what you're going to get from them, but they're still able to get these types of results. And we knew with the signing of Lookman, amongst others, the past couple of years, might we add, that this team could potentially do some damage. And now they find themselves in a Champions League semifinal. The holders of this competition, PSG, would take on Liverpool over two legs to see who would book their spot in the next round. A 2-0 home win for PSG in the first leg would be replicated once more in the second leg, this time at Anfield, to knock Liverpool out of the competition. PSG advanced to the semifinals on the back of a 4-0 aggregate scoreline. Gitano, PSG just looks so good at this moment in the season. What can you say about them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they looked fantastic, but I thought Liverpool was just toothless. Really, really didn't create much, generate much. Never looked really like a threat to PSG at any point over 180 minutes. I think honestly the biggest story coming out of this tie is the Hugo Ekitike injury and what that means for France at the World Cup. Absolutely gutted for him. That's just brutal. It looked like it was an Achilles injury, which is
Yeah.
almost a guaranteed year on the shelf. We might not even see him next season at all. Um, so that kind of, and obviously as terrible as that is, it's kind of a statement on this tie. It was really the only talking point. PSG absolutely dominated from the first whistle to the last, and really no surprise that they coasted through that.
Yeah, the report coming out this morning, ruptured Achilles tendon, 9 months minimum, minimum. So to your point, that's probably a year long's worth of recovery for Ekatike. So yeah, heartbreaking to see that. Isak back in the fold after the broken leg. By the way, a lot of criticism coming the way of Arne Slot for starting him. As a coach myself, I actually thought it was a smart move because if he gets put in the second half and he can't go, then you got to pull him out. Then you've wasted a sub. So I mean, especially if we've already used subs at that point. So I didn't mind the decision to start him, but at the end of the day, maybe he wasn't even ready. But I'm not in that camp, so I don't know. But yeah, you summarized that while Gitano PSG out and out were the best team during the course of that tie. In the second leg there, Liverpool did have him pinned back for the better part of maybe 20 minutes. But again, in that defensive mid and low block, PSG were pretty comfortable and didn't look that they were under too much threat. So the holders get through once again to the semifinals of this competition. They'll be looking to get back to the final for a second straight year. Bayern Munich would do the business over Real Madrid not once, but twice en route to securing their place in the semifinals of the Cup. A 2-1 win in the first leg would propel what some are calling the best game of 2026 in the second leg, which ended 4-3 in favor of Bayern Munich today in terms of Eastern time, but tonight in terms of when they played. This would summate a 6-4 aggregate score line. Gee, some really entertaining football in this one, but Bayern are through and rightly so. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this as probably the most exciting tie of the quarterfinals, and absolutely lived up to the hype. I thought from both games, I thought were fantastic. Obviously, we talked about who we aren't able to watch them, but watching the extended highlights, it was fantastic. Both legs. First leg super tight. Even down to the advanced stats were very very minimal separation between the two teams. Obviously, Bayern Munich coming away with the 2-1 win there, with the Harry Kane goal being the difference. Going back to Munich, um, maybe the best game, yeah, probably of the season. The late goals from Luis Diaz, which a beautiful goal. I know it took a little bit of a deflection off Militao, but still beautiful strike. And then Elise maybe making a case for the Ballon d'Or this year. He's been phenomenal. Depending on what France do at the World Cup, it could definitely be a shout, sealing the deal. A lot more dominant from Bayern Munich in the second half, in the second leg. Almost 70% possession, which is not something that happens to Real Madrid very often. 21 shots, a couple big chances created. I think Real Madrid were in it for the most part. The late Camavinga red card, though, was probably going to be what kind of is the story for them. Would they have held on and got to extra time? Would they maybe have nicked it late? But that was a huge moment for them. I think the red card, again, same as the Eric Garcia one, totally fair. Like, I don't think there's any kind of discussion to be had around it. Just a really silly decision. And I know Arda Güler technically got a red card, but he had already been subbed off at that point, so I don't really think that influences things too much. He did have a fantastic game, though. 2 goals for a young player who hasn't really had a ton of opportunity at Real Madrid. Really kind of stepped up in a huge moment for them. Obviously, it didn't work out in the result for them. But yeah, a fantastic, fantastic game, and Vincent Company men rightfully through the semifinal.
You said it, man. I think if I'm not mistaken, Kevin, I don't even know if he was on for 20 minutes. Got subbed on the second half, 60 odd minute, and I think he was red card or yellow carded, and then subsequently red carded around the 78th minute. So I don't even know if he was on for 20 minutes.
Subbed on in the 61st, first yellow in the 78th, second yellow in the 86th. So a little over 20 minutes.
A little over 20 minutes. So there you go. But yeah, a little bit of a rush of blood, no doubt, and a bit of a head loss, especially for. I know he's relatively young, but he has so much experience in that side. But regardless, I mean, we got to talk about the winners, and that is Bayern. And they were phenomenal. And over two legs, you would have to say that they were the deserved winners. And to your point, Elise, Diaz, I don't think that because Elise came from Crystal Palace, right? So I don't think that they can kick themselves because they had to sell him. But maybe Liverpool is thinking to themselves, "Hey, Luis Diaz might be kicking ourselves here because look what we lost. I know what we brought in, but I mean Diaz is on fire, isn't he?"
Oh, absolutely. And I know like they got what 75, 80-ish million for him, somewhere in that
Yeah,
ballpark. Which is like it's a fair fee. It's not like they got fleeced financially on the deal, but like just giving up a player of that quality when you see what their attack has looked like or really not looked like this year, man, I bet they would have traded that 75 million back for him in a heartbeat.
I would say so. And Gitano, we're not previewing semifinals. We in fact actually have to go through another one of these games here in a moment. But my God, PSG versus Bayern Munich in the semifinals. We can't give away too much because on our next episode of Full Time, we're going to be diving right into it, hot and heavy. But my God, what a tie!
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that this is going to be probably one of the best Champions League semifinals of all time, or it
All
at
time.
least has the potential to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I might have to sneak into the office to definitely not watch the games for sure.
Another spoiler. And in the last tie of the round, it was Arsenal who took on Sporting to determine who would get the last semifinal spot in this year's Champions League. Arsenal found a late winner in the first leg to win it by a score of 1-0. In the second leg, Arsenal would hold off Sporting just enough to keep things level at 0-0, allowing the first leg result to hold enough weight to push them through to the next round. A 1-0 aggregate score sees Arsenal head back to the Champions League semifinals for back-to-back years. Gee, really not a lot in this tie, if we're being totally honest, not entertaining in the slightest, but it is what it is. Arsenal go through, and I'll ask that you take it away, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed it and agree to disagree last week. Win ugly or lose beautifully. You take ugly wins. You take them.
Yep.
Um, and when you look at this tie, yeah, it was as about as ugly as it can get, and that's no offense to you and your Arsenal, but you got the job done, so it really doesn't matter at that point. First leg, Arsenal probably deserved to win. The stats would back that up. Not that they were fantastic or super dominant by any stretch. Sporting were absolutely in the tie, or at least in that game. But when you look at the second leg, there wasn't even a full xG, like 1.0 xG created between both teams combined. 50-50 possession, very few chances created. Very much, from what I saw, at least from the extended highlights and a couple of the kind of reviews of the game I was reading, it almost seemed like Sporting really weren't even going for it late. They just were never kind of got into a second or third gear and stepped it up when they needed that goal. Really didn't challenge Arsenal. I don't think Mikel Arteta or his side are going to complain about that, given the stakes. Yeah, I thought it was kind of a nothing burger of a tie, but I'll leave it to you if you have any more to add to that.
Not a whole lot, to be fair. This is kind of what I expected in the sense of the second leg for sure. The first leg, the substitutes were the one who ultimately got it over the line. The ball over the top from Martinelli to Kai Havertz, who was playing in the number 9. I think the experiment of Kai Havertz playing in the 10 or in midfield, we need to be done away with that. But a really good finish, even though the game was really boring. And yeah, the second leg, Arsenal was always going to park it and just try and keep everything in front of them, and that they did. And there was really no chances either way. In the first half, Sporting did hit the outside of the post, but that didn't even register as a shot on target. So again, kind of to your point, a nothing sort of game, a nothing sort of tie. But we talked about it last week on Full Time. Are you okay with winning ugly as long as you win? Yeah, of course. So for me, I'm not complaining. Arsenal do go through, and I'm certainly happy with that. So, Gitano, to review our picks, kudos to you. You go 3 for 4. I went 2 for 4. So, some decent picks overall. And now we are set for the semifinals. Gee, the final four teams are locked in. How do you like it?
You know what? I would have liked a little more with Sporting instead of Arsenal, but I think when you look at those semifinals, like a PSG Bayern Munich, you could look back as far as I've been a football fan. If you said, hey, PSG Bayern Munich's Champions League semifinal, it's electric. If you want to go all the way back to Ibra and Cavani and Lavezzi at PSG, and Robin Ribéry, like those guys, like at any point it's been that would be a fantastic tie. I think right now it's probably the best we've ever seen in terms of the quality of both teams. And then you look at Atletico Madrid and Arsenal tie. I don't think it's maybe as flashy as Hollywood as the PSG Bayern tie, but I think it's going to be a fantastic tactical battle. Simeone versus Arteta is going
Yeah.
to be super super interesting to see how they approach that. Well, both teams are kind of priding themselves specifically this season for Arsenal on their defense. So I'm interested to see how that kind of plays out. So again, maybe not as flashy and fun, but I definitely think it's going to be a super interesting tie to watch as well. So yeah, I think when you look at that Final Four, that's probably one of the better Final Fours we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, well said, Gitano. And I think for any footballing fan, if you like go 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 football, it's PSG, it's Bayern all the way, where you're going to probably see a lot of goals, a lot of attacking quality and individual quality and talent. But if you're a student of the game and you love the sport for its tactics and knowledge and potential know-how, then that Arsenal Atletico Madrid tie is kind of where it's at. So kind of sort of the complete opposite end of the spectrum for both, but nonetheless should be entertaining, but just perhaps in different ways. Gitano, we are going to review these or preview, I should say, these semifinals for everyone here listening to our show, and that'll be on our next episode of Full Time, where we will, in fact, take you through the semifinals that are upcoming in the Champions League. Moving along, it is the MLS that has been keeping us entertained in the early stages of the season. Gee, how are you enjoying the start of Major League Soccer, my friend?
I'm loving it. TFC are doing pretty okay. Seeing some foundational pieces being placed down, and it's just nice across the league just having MLS back. It's always fun, especially at this kind of point in the year where nobody's really too far ahead. Messi and his friends haven't taken over the league quite yet at this point. So just kind of having that little bit of chaos and kind of parity right now, it's been really fun to watch, and I think just the quality we're seeing across the league so far has been good to see. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the start.
You said it better than I could, so I'm fully on board with that. And taking a look at the standings, we're going to start here in the Eastern Conference. It's Nashville who are running the show at the top of the table. Chicago is in second, with Inter Miami in third. A total of 4 teams are joint fourth, including our beloved Toronto FC, Gitano. If you could, G, break down what you're seeing in the East and what you're seeing from TFC.
Yeah, I think the East, you can already kind of see some shape taking form. Inter Miami near the top, New York City in a playoff spot as well. It's nice to see Red Bulls kind of playing a little better, and hopefully they can keep kind of. I don't want them to do super well, but it's nice when they're. It's just they're an MLS original team. It's always nice having them around playing meaningful games. And when you look at Toronto FC specifically, you're kind of seeing what we've talked about the last couple of years of they're starting to build a bit of a spine of the team. Walker Zimmerman's been a fantastic addition. Actually, him going out injured in the last game probably is the reason why we drop points there. And really, I think the biggest thing for Toronto FC is having kind of depth scoring. It's not totally reliant on Josh Sargent to score, although he has got a couple already, I think, this year. So that's been a fantastic way to start for him. But you're seeing, midfielders are scoring, so the defenders are scoring, like just kind of that depth that's spreading around. Are we going to challenge for MLS Cup this year? Probably not. Still probably a few pieces away. But seeing the foundational blocks being placed, a bit of a spine being built. Sucks to see Mihailovic out for 8 weeks with that pelvic injury. I don't even a pelvic fracture, I think it was.
Something to that effect, yeah.
Yeah, 8 weeks out minimum is a bit of a bummer considering he had such a good start to the season. But hopefully by the time he's back, TFC will still be kind of in the playoff ballpark and he can add to that push. But I really like what I'm seeing so far. What about you?
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far too. It looks like a much more balanced side where we're able to do a little bit more, and behind the ball, we don't look an absolute mess with holes and gaps all over the park. So that's nice. And we're also not one dimensional in the attack anymore, trying to just spray balls out to the wing and see what we can do. So it's been a nice change, shall we call it? And in the East too, I think anything can happen. And maybe once Inter Miami gets rolling, then they'll kind of overtake. But until that happens, it's good to see the competitiveness in the early stages. And out in the West, Vancouver and San Jose are joint top. LAFC trails the joint leaders. Gee, we've got 9 teams in the West that are already in double digits for points. Your thoughts here, sir?
Yeah, I mean, well, Vancouver just picking up where they left off last season, absolutely rolling, 6 wins and only the one loss. Just they're looking fantastic, and it's not, again, it's very early in the season, we're only 7 games in, but it would not be surprising to me to see them back in the conference finals or MLS Cup final. They look like they are on fire. I think kind of the really one of the biggest stories in the West is that LA Galaxy have a couple of wins already, considering it took them a long time to get that going last season. Will they make the playoffs? Maybe, maybe not, but at least kind of turning that around. And just a note I forgot to mention: East Montreal, bottom of the conference. Thank God.
So
But yeah, the West is looking good. You're kind of seeing the similar teams. It's San Jose, LAFC, the Sounders are up there, Colorado's up there, all kind of the usual suspects in and around there. But for this point of the season, it's what you kind of expect. But it's looking fun so far.
it very much is. And Gitano, as the MLS season continues, of course, all of our wonderful listeners can get all of their updates right here on Full Time. The big Premier League fixture this upcoming weekend will be between Manchester City and Arsenal, and there is certainly a fair bit on the line. Gee, both teams are pushing for the title, but this game has a decent amount riding on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, this it's not quite a title deciding fixture, but it might as well be. It's a title 6 pointer at this point, and I think more than just the 3 points on the line. I think the psyche, and I don't mean to be rude, of your Arsenal team is kind of on the line here. If they get the big result, get the win, this could be the boost that sends them to winning the Premier League. If they lose, it could be kind of the crucial blow in the collapse. I think this is going to be maybe one of the most important games in Arsenal's recent history. I'm nervous. I'm excited. It should be a hell of a game.
Nervous and excited definitely summarizes my feelings. And I'm a little bit different to you because I'm going to put my neck out here. I do think that this is a title decider, and I'm going to tell you why. Manchester City are going this way. Arsenal, Premier League wise, that is going this way. I think if Arsenal win, I think that they'll gain the momentum back that they once had, and they'll be on their way. I think if City win, they're going to keep the momentum that they had. That's going to be to your point, psychological blow to Arsenal, and they'll still go this way. If they tie, you might as well flip a coin to see who's going to win it. But I do have a funny feeling that whoever wins this game just might win the Premier League. Gitano, we are going to go into a combined 11 here of Manchester City and Arsenal players. In the case that you and I can agree, Gitano, on a specific player, we're going to use statmuse.com to determine the tiebreaker to see which player gets in. The formation that we're going for, of course, is a 4-5-1. You can kind of assemble that in any which way that you'd like. And we're only picking, by the way, folks, healthy and available players, or ones that we assume to be healthy and available. If they've been ruled out or are in question, we're going to elect to leave them out. So, Gitano, we're going to get started in goal, and you're going to start us off. Who gets the start in goal in the starting 11?
I think this is one of the harder ones to pick. I think both Donnarumma and David Raya are fantastic keepers, two of the best in the world. I'm just going to pick Donnarumma. I think for the big games, the big moments, he's the big man for it. So I'm going to pick Gianluigi Donnarumma.
So, Gitano, I've also gone the same there. And again, David Raya has been really good this season. He's had a couple of games, but I can count them on one hand where he's been shaky. But I mean, Donnarumma is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. An absolute shame that I don't even think he's been to a World Cup yet in his tenure as a professional goalkeeper, starting at the age of 16. But yeah, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And if I had to pick somebody to back my side, I'd certainly pick him. Now, Gitano, we're going to go to right back. And for me, I really wanted to put Jurrien Timber in, but he's not 100% to be in this, so I can't pick him. So just on the back of quality, on the back of what I see, I think kind of makes sense. I've gone for Christian Mosquera, so I'll pass that over to you to see what you're saying.
Yeah, I probably, if he was healthy, would have picked Timber as well. I've gone a little different. I've gone with Matthias Nunez. Not a conventional right back by any means, but he's when you actually look at his advanced stats, he's actually one of the better performing right backs in the league. So yeah, I think just the consistency he's given us this season. I know like when he started playing right back last year, it was a little shaky, but he's really kind of leveled out now and become a really good fullback for us. So I'm going to pick Matthias Nunez, but I'm interested to see what the advanced stats say there.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into that right here and now. And the advanced stats do say, as soon as this lovely computer of mine will load. So it's going to be Matthias Nunez who does get in, and it's actually relatively close, but it is Matthias Nunez who is going to get into this starting 11. So, Gitano, we're going to move over to center back. And in the case here of center back, we're going to, of course, pick two of them, and you're going to start us off. So, who are your two center backs that start in this combined 11?
So undoubtedly, Saliba has to be in there. I think he's one of the better center backs in world football. To me, as long as he's fit, are we're aware, he's all good.
Yep, he's fit, healthy. He played
Perfect.
the 90 minutes today. He's all good to go.
Perfect. Yeah. So he's a shoe in there. And on the other side, I would pick Ruben Diaz, but he's not 100% fit right now. There's talks he might be fit for the Arsenal game, but we don't know. So in that case, I'm going to go with Mark Gahey. I think he's been fantastic this season for Crystal Palace and for City. Has really stepped up, kind of for someone who's only been at City for a couple months. Stepped into a huge leadership role, leading the back line into a fantastic turn in form, chipping in with a couple goals and assists. I think he's just been fantastic this year. So yeah, my two center backs are Saliba and Gahey.
So, Gitano, you said that you were going to go for Diaz had he been fit. What I did, I went for Saliba and Gahey to start right off the bat. So we end up with the same picks regardless. Again, we're not picking players that are not 100% to be in or that have been reported that they might be missing the tie. So Gitano, we're going to agree on the center backs, and that's one heck of a partnership between Saliba and Gahey. Now we're going to go to left back. Left back this season has been a very precarious situation for Arsenal, I do got to say. Started with Calafiori. He's had a really difficult time staying fit. Miles Lewis Skelly has looked a little bit shaky back there, albeit in the last game he done all right. And then Piero Incapi found himself in that position, albeit he's more of a center back than he is a left back. But that position really hasn't been taken by anybody. So for me, I've gone for Nico O'Reilly.
Yeah, it's Nico O'Reilly. Since coming in for Josko Gvardiol, who was kind of our makeshift left back, he's made that position his own. He's earned Pep's trust to roam into midfield and kind of do what he wants. So yeah, absolutely, it's Nico O'Reilly.
And that's the end of that. So that's our back four. That looks to be Nunez, Saliba, Gahey, and O'Reilly. We're now going to go into midfield. Gitano, you're going to tell us your five midfielders. And again, you can kind of contort and fix this the way that you good and well please. And then we'll see afterward where we align.
So I'm going to start with I'm kind of keeping it like a kind of a 4-2-3-1 ish midfield for that five. I'm going to have Rodri and Declan Rice sitting at the base of that midfield, Ray Yang Cherokee at the 10, and then on the wings, I'm going to go with Bukayo Saka and Antoine Semenyo.
Okay. So I'm going to have to say that we're really, really close, but I'm going to have to go just slightly different only because Saka is likely not to play.
Oh, is he not? Oh
Likely
no!
not to play. So he's deemed to be 50-50, but in the Champions League tie today wasn't even named in the squad. So now let's be honest about it. Is that psychological from Arteta? Maybe, possibly, but because we're not 100% sure, we are going to have to rule him out.
All
So
right.
I've gone for four of the same there, Gitano, and I'm going to propose. So I have gone, by the way. So Rodri, Rice, Cherokee, Semenyo. I'm going to propose that we put in Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, that to me is a fair thing. I was debating throwing him in there, but if Saka had been fit, I would have had him on the right wing. But yeah, if Bukayo Saka is not, I think Bernardo Silva is the next man up for sure.
Yep, and I really tussled with this one because I wanted to fit Eberechi Eze in, but he was just coming off of injury and only played one game for about, I don't know, like 40 minutes, 35 minutes. And then he did play today again, didn't finish the game, but I wasn't 100% confident on that because I was going to tussle between Semenyo and him. But I think that midfield is going to stay as is. That's Silva, Rodri, Rice, Cherokee, and Semenyo. And then we're going to finish with our lone striker up top. I did think that coming into the season, I thought that Gyökeres would hit the ground a little bit, hit the ground running a little bit more. I don't think that Arsenal have been using him in the right way, if I'm being totally honest, not trying to sound negative. But for me, I'm going to have to go with Erling Haaland Gitano.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that Gyökeres has had a bad season by any stretch. He's got 18 goals this year in all competitions, 12 of them in the Prem. It's like 12 goals in the Prem is nothing
Yep.
to back away from. But Haaland is just out and out probably the best striker in the world, has been for a long time. 22 goals on the season already in the Prem, plus a handful of assists. Yeah, it's got to be Erling Haaland.
Yep, it definitely has to be. So, taking a look at this 11, I know we've done this in the past, and I know the team that we picked previously may just outdo this one but this is one heck of a team. So, let's have a listen, let's have a look. It's Donnarumma in goal, Matthias Nunez at right back, Saliba and Gehi as the starting center backs, Nico O'Reilly at left back, a midfield five comprised of Rodri, Rice, Bernardo Silva, Cherokee, and Semenyo, and then Erling Haaland up top. Gitano, it's one heck of an 11, isn't it?
I mean, like it's a fantastic 11. That midfield though, that is just
Yeah.
something else. That would be. I don't know how we would ever see it in play, but like to see those five players together in midfield would just be a joy to watch.
Yeah, and just the ability to interchange and do as you good and well please and change roles, just yeah, that would be a joy, no doubt about it. So, the big game between Manchester City against Arsenal, will be hosted this Sunday at the Etihad, April 19th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Prediction?
I watched from behind a cushion for
Yeah.
90 minutes. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee Pep, throwing antics on the sidelines. And that's about all I can guarantee. I'm gonna say City win it. I don't think it's as comfy as the Carabao Cup final. I think it's a lot tighter, a lot nervier. Maybe a late winner. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
It will be. And I'm just going to say this now. If the injury report is what it is for Arsenal, and if Mikel Arteta comes out in another press conference and says something silly again, I have City winning this one 3-1. But if Arsenal just do what they're supposed to do and keep things level and, just go out and play football, because we know how they're going to play. People have said, for example, that we need to let the handbrake off and let them express themselves. You can't do that now at this point in the season. You haven't done it all season. You're not going to start doing it with 6 games left to go. So if Arsenal will just go there, keep it defensively tight, narrow, compact, and just play simple, fundamental football, I will walk away happily with a draw. So again, we'll see what ends up happening, but that game is this Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Manchester City hosting Arsenal at the Etihad. This is Daniel Scarpino and Gitano Gallo, and you're listening to the Full Time Podcast on 91 Network. A reminder that Full Time is sponsored by Little Caesars Pizza and Sioux Sports. Check out the Pizza Portal app for a quicker, easier way to get your next hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars. And be sure to check out Sioux Sports at siouxsports.com and Sioux Sports TV on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Full Time. As we prepare to end tonight's show, we want to extend our thanks to all of you for tuning in. Great job tonight, my man.
Fantastic job to you as well, Scarps. Just another episode just flying by. Again, it's wild to think that we've been doing this 100 and something now episodes. I've already lost count. I was trying to keep count after 100, already lost count. But yeah, especially around this time of year when not that the early stuff isn't meaningful, but when you're really in the meat and bones of the season, it's just the most fun to discuss. So excellent job, and thank you for having me as always.
Well, my pleasure, man. It's always a great pleasure to be with you. And yeah, this is episode number 108. So absolutely flying as we are in the run-in here in the business end of the season. Absolutely gotta love it. And again, as we always say, the nice thing is we get to do it again so soon. A reminder to our listeners that the next episode of Full Time will be recorded the week of April 20th, 2026. In that show, we will take a look at the Premier League and the Champions League, as well as the rest of Europe's Big Five. As always, we will keep everyone in the loop with all the happenings in the world of football. For weekly content, make sure to hit like, follow, share, and subscribe to all platforms of 91 Network on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Podbean, and Spaces at suitoday.com. For Gitano Gallo, my name is Daniel Scarpino, and thank you for tuning in to Full Time. We look forward to seeing you at kickoff next time back here on the Full Time Podcast and 91 Network. Best always.